Hey friends, so on Sunday I posted a video that was all about how to come up with ideas for your blog, and I posted on Instagram and I was like, hey, so what are your like blogging questions that you still have? And there were so many questions. I was like, wow, I was not expecting that. So I asked and you guys said you wanted a whole video dedicated to this Q&A because there's so many questions and I wanted to make sure I could actually talk to them as opposed to like on Instagram being like, hey, I have 15 seconds, here you go. That means that I am going to try to be pretty quick so that I can get through as many as possible. But my suggestion would be to grab a cup of coffee. I've actually got iced coffee in my normal mug. And I got a dog, so I'm ready. I'm gonna try to get through as many as possible, so here we go. Does the site that you use for your blog matter? What's the difference if you use Blogger or other sites? So yes, it does matter, because what site you use is going to determine how you actually like make the blog post and that kind of stuff. I'm always gonna recommend that you own your own domain and your own hosting. So I use SiteGround for my hosting. Those are the people who like actually put it up so it looks like something on the internet. And I use WordPress, which is like how it is easy to write things in there. I will leave that link down below. Specifically, you said Blogger. I would not suggest Blogger. Blogger is like a free blogging website, but you don't own it. It's like writing on someone else's blog, and so it's just not, it's not ideal. I'm in part of quite a few blogging groups, and many people even now are saying like, yeah, well, I had Blogger and I had to switch because it just wasn't working. I would go with your own. How to monetize your blog. So you can monetize your blog. I'm assuming that you're talking about through ads. You can get ads through Google AdSense, but I'm going to warn you, it doesn't make a lot of money. It makes very little money. Now, I mean, anything is great, and so even now with my blog being like very well established, I make like $100 a month. Like, it's not much. The best way to monetize your blog is to have blog posts that talk about your products. That's gonna make you the most amount of money, because then people can go and they can purchase your products on TPT. So that's what my suggestion for monetizing your blog is. You can also do like sponsored posts. I have never done that, so I don't have a lot of experience with it, but I know a lot of people, and especially like full-time bloggers, do. I apologize for the tail. Would you stop? What are you doing? What are you doing? What plugins do you use and how do you make your site faster? That was from the present teacher. Oh, sorry. The first was Raise Thinkers. The second one is Oak Roots and Arrows, and that one was the present teacher. I am not super well versed in plugins. I use Monster Insights to give me information about like where people are coming from. I use Yoast SEO is my absolute favorite. Can you get out of my face, please? I use Yoast SEO, which makes SEO super easy. It like shows you exactly what you need to do in order to have your blog post optimized for search engine optimization, which means people can find you a little bit more easily. So that's my absolute favorite. I would highly recommend. There's like a YouTube plugin that I use so that I can embed YouTube videos into my website. Those are the main ones. As far as making your site faster, I don't know a ton about it, but I do have Jetpack, which I believe does that. So, oh, and I have like a Kismet, which is like anti-spam. Digital for French says how to improve your traffic. If you want to improve your traffic to your blog, you're going to need to drive traffic. So number one is you're going to want to have that SEO, that search engine optimization. I'll link a video I did about that below. That's going to be your number one bet. It does take time. So I've heard people say before it takes about a year to rank for something. So like if you want to do Hispanic Heritage Month ideas for 3rd grade, it's gonna take until next Hispanic Heritage Month to post that. That's why like professional bloggers often will post things like they'll post Christmas stuff in June, because they want to give it time to gain that traction and get that SEO built up. So that's gonna be number one. Number two is making sure that people actually want to read your site. So if people click onto your site and the post is not what they thought it was going to be, or it doesn't look like it's going to be fun to read, or it's just like a whole huge chunk of paragraph, then they're going to click off, and that's going to make your bounce rate really high, which means people are leaving your site. You don't want that. You want people to come and spend a lot of time on your site. So a different way to do that would be to put a lot of links to other blogs on that website so that they can go to your other blog posts and spend more time on there. And number three is gonna be drive traffic through any sources you have. So if you've got social media, drive traffic to your blog. If you have an email list, drive traffic to your blog. And you can always do ads if you want to, although I wouldn't recommend that until you like know kind of what you're doing. All right, Creative Classroom Core 22 says, how many posts a month is best for the algorithm? I don't think it matters. It's not that fussy about it. It's more about, are people going to your post? Are people liking your website and staying on it for a while? And are other people linking to your website? Those are kind of much bigger, and then your keywords. The algorithm doesn't care about how often you post. How do I remember to write blog posts? Girl, making special moments, schedule it out and then pray that your baby sleeps, because that's important for you. I only have this one, so, well, and Athena, but she's much more chill. I'm not quite sure what this is, so I'm not going to try to say this name. But how do you decide on keywords, and how do you optimize for keywords? For keywords, if you're not familiar, keywords are what you use, are basically things that people are typing into search in order to find your blog post. So my suggestion is to just start by thinking, if someone was trying to find this blog post, what would they be typing in? For example, I recently wrote a new blog post about the song En la Pulga de San Jose, which is a Puerto Rican folk song that talks about instruments orchestra. No one is typing into Google En la Pulga de San Jose, or at least not very many people, but they might be typing in Hispanic folk song or Puerto Rican folk song or third grade music lesson and those kind of things. So those are better keywords for me to go after. You can go look at Google and you can start typing in what you want and see what pops up automatically. Pinterest is also great for that. And then you can use plugins like Keywords Everywhere, helps you to find keywords and like rank them and stuff like that. So that would be that. As far as optimizing for keywords, Yoast SEO, it will tell you exactly what to do. But you want your keyword to be in your title, you want it to be in your URL, you want it to be in your headers throughout your piece, and you want to say it a couple of times throughout your piece, but make sure it's like still legible. Don't just be like weird things, because no one uses that. Okay, and another question about plugins. What does your writing process look like? How to take a blog post idea and turn it into an article? That's from Mergen539. So I always start with just like, here's the topic. So like En la Pulga de San Jose, I was like, here's the topic, this is what we're talking about. And if it's a lesson I have done before, then I will be able to just kind of like write it because I've already done it. If I have not, or it's like a roundup, so like here is a couple of different ways that you can teach quarter notes, then I will typically just do like basically an outline that ends up being like my headings. So if I was gonna do ways to teach quarter note, then I would go down and I would go ahead and write out, okay, this game, this activity, this song, this lesson, this dog, and then I would go back in and fill it in. Honestly, that's pretty much all that I do. I don't do a ton of blog posts that require a lot of research. I have a couple, but for the most part, I am doing blog posts that are like lessons I have taught, things I have done, because that's the whole premise of my brand, is sharing things. Or if I'm doing it based off of a product, then it's really easy because I've already thought through all of the things that you would need for the product. So that's my best advice, would be to have like an outline and then fill it in. And always remember that you can go back and edit it. So the first thing you have down does not need to be the final draft. So just get words on the page, and that's it. Followers, strategies to get a lead magnet and blog in front of their beautiful eyes, from South Street Mom. So as far as lead magnets is your email list. What you want to do is have some sort of freebie that people are interested in, that you can talk about a lot. So for example, I have a like jazz music bracket, and that's a freebie that I started offering this year, and I put it in every single one of my jazz music lesson blog posts, which was, I mean, I have at least 10. And so that was something that people who click on that blog post are already interested in, because they're already interested in jazz lessons. They're like, oh, cool, here's a free one. I can go download it, and that's how I get people onto my email list. So my suggestion is to have a couple of things that are like really pivotal, really big in your business, that are going to be really relevant to lots of your blog posts, and do a freebie related to that. Yeah, so stick that lead magnet. I like to put it in the text So I don't like to do the like boxes that you can put on there that's like sign up for my email list, because I don't respond to those. I prefer like inline. I'm like, click here if you want to download the freebie, and then they click and they got to put their email in. So that's my suggestion for that, and I will leave a link to a landing page tutorial down below. How to get reach with a brand new blog. I already talked about that. This is from Miss D's Ideas. Same kind of thing. Blog, blog, blog. The more blogs you have, the more chances people have to find you and retain them with your email list or sending them to your social media so that they will come back. Also, Pinterest. Pinterest is great for blogging. Do you write a post on your blog for every product or maybe every product line that you list on TBT? From Judy Coach. I don't like saying the names because I feel like I always get them wrong, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna try though. Judy, I don't have one for every single product, but that would be the goal. Every one of your products could be at least one lesson or one blog post, and it could usually be more than one. And the more the better, because every blog post you have linking to a product is gonna be traffic going to that product. So I don't go through and say like, oh, I need to have a blog post for every product, but that is one place that I will start when I am looking for like what I want to blog about next. I'll look through my products and see like, okay, who does not have a blog post, and I will make a blog post for that. It really helps with traffic. So if I have things that are not selling well, a lot of times I will write a blog post about them so that they will sell better and get traffic over there and all of that good stuff. So the answer is not necessarily, but that would kind of be the ideal, is to have one for every product or every product line when it's relevant. Like I have a set of digital rhythm composition slides that really don't warrant a whole blog post, because it's just kind of like, here it is. It's like if you have like worksheets, like you don't need to be like, here, fraction worksheets. Like there's not that much you need to say about it, then you don't need a whole blog post. But I might include it in like a ways to teach rhythm kind of blog post. So even if you don't have one explicitly about that, you could. Look, Zoe did that. It says keywords, all the questions about keywords. Zoe, you've been asking me about keywords a lot. So here's what I'm gonna tell you. I think you're overthinking it. Just think, what would people need to type in if they were looking for my lesson? So if I know I have En la Pulga de San Jose Puerto Rican folk song lesson for instruments, what are they typing in that has to do with that? Again, probably not En la Pulga de San Jose, probably not even folk song for instruments, but they might be typing in Hispanic folk song, or they might be typing in third grade music lesson, or instruments of the orchestra lesson, or those kind of things. So that is what you want to focus on. What are people actually typing in, and that has to do with my product. I don't want to use like treble clef lesson for my En la Pulga de San Jose, because they don't have anything to do with each other. So I want to make sure that it's still relevant, because otherwise that kind of defeats the whole point. But that is the best thing to be about keywords, is most of the time you can figure it out just like logically. Also, you can use like keywords everywhere and stuff like that to do a little more research. Miss Crafty Natty says, how do you get people to read it when you first start? Same thing, write a bunch of blog posts, get on Pinterest, get on social media, and talk to people and try to retain them once you have them. What do you write about? Just did a new video about that, so that will be down below. 1844 creations. Ooh, here's a good one. Pause for a dramatic sip. Twitchell Music Fun says, do you really need one? So the short answer is no, you don't need one. You can do whatever you want with your business, but it's the same thing like when I talk about descriptions and previews and stuff, and people are like, do I really need to have a preview on all of my resources? You don't need to. You can sell things without blog posts, and you can get traffic without blog posts. However, you can only get so far with organic traffic, and you can only get so far without having some sort of content. So whether you decide that's blog post or YouTube or whatever, I really recommend you have some sort of content marketing, because that's the best way to build an audience, gain their attention, and keep their attention. So having them join your email list or join you on social media so you can continue to market to them, and also to have them actually buy. Like, y'all, people who are on Pinterest looking for lessons are ready to purchase. So they go to Pinterest, then they go to my blog, and then they're like, oh cool, I'll go buy this thing, and then I don't have to lesson plan. and then they're done, and it's exciting. Like, that is what happens. That is where all of my people on Instagram are from. That's where all of my people on my email list are from. And by the way, I have over twice as many people on my email list as I do on my Instagram, for if you need some reference. So that is where most of my sales come from. I added it up the other day and I made like $600 just from my blog last month, and then I also made like a ridiculous amount. It was like $1,000 from my email list, and people have my email list because they came to me from my blog. Like, that's how I get people on my email list, is on my blog, because people read that in every single post. I'm like, hey, you should join the free resource library. So the answer is, you don't need one. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do anything. However, if you want more traffic, do content. If you want to build an audience, do content. That's my suggestion. I will also say, I highly recommend, even if you're not going to have a blog, that you do at least purchase your website, so that you own your website, and so that you can set it up so that if people are just searching for you, they can find your website, and then you can link to TBT from there. But I would recommend that regardless of whether you're going to do it. Okay, Brown Bear Resources says, what membership did you buy? The cheapest one. How do you put in email links and how to grow it? So email links, same thing. I will link to my landing page tutorial down below. We're gonna have to go and change the battery. Oh no. But here, let's see how much we can do before it runs out. The Teaching Diva Corner says, do I need a blog in order to start an email list? No, you do not. You just need an email service provider like MailChimp, or like Flowdesk is one I've heard a lot of recently, or ConvertKit. I use MailChimp, so I will leave them linked down below. How do you get the speed up? I already answered that. I think I use Jetpack. Google it, from Make STEM Proud. And then Madame Molina says, how do I start from scratch and what all fancy words mean? We cover all of that in my email course. So you can click the link down below to get a free email course that will teach you exactly how to set up your website. Like we do, like literally like day 1, here's what you do. Day 2, do this. Day 3, do this. And we go through like literally everything you need, how to come up with ideas. We talk about how to actually make your website, how to do all of those things, and like literally everything. So click the link down below for that one. All right, new battery, and we have just a couple more questions. So Ingrid asked, do you start writing in a notebook and then transfer over to Google Docs, or write directly in Google Docs? You can do whatever you want. I type mine into Google Docs and then I copy and paste it into my blog. I used to write directly into my blog, but then I accidentally messed up my website and lost like 4 blog posts that were completely done, and I was like, it was so sad. So now I write them in Google Docs and then I transfer them over. I don't write them in a notebook because it just takes too much time. Do you recommend buying a laptop or desktop if the business keeps growing with blogging? What's the best? It's 100% personal preference. I like my laptop because I like to work everywhere. Sometimes I sit here on the floor, sometimes I sit on my couch, sometimes I sit in the living room, sometimes I sit at my desk. My husband, on the other hand, has a desktop that he adores. It is like his favorite thing. He doesn't have a blog, but he like works on it all the time, and he just thinks it's the greatest thing. He loves how big it is. He loves just like the whole setup and layout. So it's just 100% your personal preference as to which one you would prefer. Lessons said, I want to know more about the password protected freebie library section of your blog. So if you have been to beccasmusicroom.com, I have a free resource library that is password protected. On a WordPress website, this is super easy to set up. It's literally just a page and I put a password on it. I send that password in every single email that I send. So if you're on my email list, then you have access to the password. And if I change it, then you get that update as soon as it's changed. No, I said plots. Don't whack me. Don't you shake? Look, we can shake. You're very fancy. What? Now you're embarrassing me. Plots. There you go. So that is really, really easy to set up. It takes like a couple seconds. And then I just put, you can upload media, so like PDFs, to your WordPress website. So I just link each of the pictures. I have like a little thumbnail basically that goes to each of the different freebies. Now I will warn you, if you go this route, you will have people who email you and are like, I forgot my password. And I'm like, oh my gosh. people, why do you not understand? Like, it's in literally every email I send you, and you've been on my email list for like a year. I don't understand what the problem is, because we all have the same password. They don't realize like it's not an account that you set up. It's just, that happens all the time, and it's so annoying. However, another way that I have seen it done, my friend Emily over at Joyfulness is teaching. She does a folder in Google Drive that she links for her free resource library. So it's just, she sends it in like the bottom of each of her emails is the link to the folder, and it just has all of the resources. Now, the downside to that would be that once people have access, they can then always have access. So that's why I have the password, so that I can change it, and then you have to be on my email list in order to continue to get the password. If you are not on my email list anymore, you won't know what the password is. So do be aware of that people can unsubscribe and still get access to all of your freebies. But if that doesn't bother you, then there you go. All right, friends, I think we have gotten to all of the questions. I am really shocked about that, because it was a lot of questions. So I hope that was helpful. I know that was a lot. So if you are either like new to blogging or you didn't quite catch it all, you might want to play it over again. So again, just go grab that cup of coffee and play it over again, so that you can catch everything, because that was a lot of really good stuff. And I hope that answers pretty much all of your questions. We still have a few more blogging videos that are on my list that I would like to make. So if there's anything in particular that you want to see as far as videos, then leave those down below, leave those ideas down below, so that I will know, so that I can then make them. And yeah, love to hear your feedback. Don't forget to click the link to get your free how to set up your blog and email course, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.